got the crazy eyes again. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it is Thursday, the day before Friday. Oh man, it's just been a weird week. A lot of people, don't realize that there's a lot of people out there, like myself, who get hit this time of year with anxiety pretty bad, and it's just, for no good reason other than okay, the weather's bad, but I always get that seasonal depression pretty bad myself. And sometimes, you just got to fight your way through it and keep going. It's tough to do. It really is. But like, the other day for me was an Ativan day. So I didn't care. But no. Uh, I know it feels like it's been a hard week, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe it's because Wake Hall. Also, we're not going to Chicago TARDIS this year. There's just far, far, far too much weird shit going on in this country right now. And as much as I would like to go and all that, it's just something, I keep getting this, when my gut, and yes, you can tell I have a lot of gut, can you see? Gets this feeling. If I don't follow it, it usually ends up bad. And this year I just got a gut feeling not to go. So I was like, okay, the gut's been more reliable than usual lately. So, just to look, as much as I'd love to go, Eccleston ain't coming in until Saturday anyway. And I'm like, as much as I like to meet some of the other folks who are there, it's like, the one thing that would have decided for me is if Eccleston was going to be there on Friday. But it's like, I leave Saturday. We leave Saturday as early as possible. So, due to the fact that, for one year we got out of there and then shortly after they got bombarded by snow. A lot of the guests were trapped there for a couple days because there were no flights out. And also with the political weirdness going on in this country, hell, the political weirdness going on everywhere. I just saw a thing where there's a guy estimating there's an 18.5% chance there will be a civil war in Britain in the next few years. And I'm like, guys, how come you ain't voted those bums out yet? They're actually literally arresting people for looking at tweets or liking certain tweets. Dude, that shit wouldn't fly here. I can tell you that right now. Especially when you had this moron, the Storm guy, whatever, Sturmer or whatever. I know what his name actually is, but I really don't want to say Keir Starmer or whatever how you pronounce it. How'd this guy get elected? He's right out of Orwell's Wet Dreams. I'm not kidding. He's an Orwellian nightmare, actually. It's like, oh, but he's doing it for you. I'm not kidding. I'm halfway concerned. Pretty soon I'm going to hear news reports that, man arrested for farting near, so what do you call it, near something, or near a clinic or something. It's like, sir, did you just fart near that clinic? It's like, you do realize it's a felony. Okay. Oh. For one, it violates the silent zone of the hospital, and also you could be contaminating the local environment with your farticles. Oh. Oh, it's a crazy, crazy world we live in. It is. Today, of course, is October 23rd. What does that mean? It means it is Fallout Day. Now, for you folks who are not fans of the Fallout universe, in the Fallout universe, the bombs dropped on it. And this is for you folks who are watching the show going, huh? The bombs dropped on October 23rd, 2077 in that parallel world. In that parallel world, there was a major divergence after World War II in the timeline. There were other small little things before that. But the major divergence in that history for that parallel particular Earth was after World War II. Like certain technologies didn't advance and others really did. That's why they have robots and they still have old-fashioned black and white TVs and shit like that. So if that's what if you're wondering what's going on there, that's what happened. I don't even think they invented the transistor till a couple of years before the big war finally hit out. So that's why when I watched. How's the power? How are these people still watching TV after that bomb dropped in the first episode? And why is there still going? And it's like, well, that's a good question. A, it depends on where the signal is being transmitted from, and B, the electrics would have been fine because all their stuff is transistor-based technology. So, oh, I know. Trust me, it ain't no better here. I agree with you. It is no better here. We got all kinds of weird shit going on here. That's one of the reasons I'm not going to Chicago TARDIS. And if any of that made sense, someone please tell me. I just read that last message. I'm like, I'm sorry, I've seen Cockney rhyme slang that makes more sense. But okay, the whole world's gone nuts. So that's why they declare, even though, like I said, I can't figure it out because the first Fallout game actually came out on October 10th, 1997. But because of that fictional universe, October 23rd being a thing, they're going to have all these big announcements. And we're all sitting here going like, what? You've already let all these imbeciles go out on the public test server doing entire live streams, putting out videos of just about all the content that's on there, which I've been really trying to avoid watching. And I'm like, look, I've been called a spoiler hound, but these guys have pretty much shown you everything. Ugh. Okay. Meanwhile, if any of that made sense, someone tell me. All right. Well, like I said, I didn't agree with the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. If you've ever seen the movie, what was that? People versus Larry Flint. When it was Falwell versus Flint, a very groundbreaking case in free speech. Because I think it was Jerry Falwell was trying to sue, what do you call it, a guy who was head of Penthouse, Larry Flint. And one of the examples they bring up in that thing was there was once a comic, and it was done way back before Washington, or Washington had been elected or something like that. And it was a picture of George Washington on a mule with a guy in front, and and it says right there that's, on the bottom, he's leading an ass to Washington. Well, all of some people, he's leading an ass to the White House or something. And it's like, that's just, their opinion. They're entitled to it. So no, I didn't agree with in a way, with the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, because to me, it's like when you start worrying about what your late night talk show hosts are saying, yeah, you've got a problem. And like I said, we've had a problem here for a long time. Free speech has pretty much been bought and paid for. Your Fourth Amendment rights are on the toilet. And the Second Amendment is going to be pretty soon, literally boobs up and taking on water. It's a crazy, mad world we live in, but hey, we do the best we can. But like I said, here in America, yeah, you keep bringing up the Trump name. It doesn't matter. Whoever's in the White House, they're middle management. They're puppets on a string. They're pretty much doing what other people are telling them what to do. It's the way it's been for like more than half a century. The last president who actually tried to make any changes, who might have given two shits about the people in his constituency, had his brains ventilated all over De La Plaza. I know, it's kind of quiet for a change out here in comment land. I wonder what's going on. I don't see any of the usual suspects here this morning, which is kind of weird. The planet Baldus. Notice the ridged valleys. Is that a crater? What is that up there? Okay, but at least here in America, we aren't arresting people and having their tweets searched. Alrighty, so Thursday, I just got to make it through today and tomorrow, and I will be a much happier person. Oh, yeah, that's right, you're there, so hello. Just it's kind of quiet in the comment box this morning. But Doctor Who wise, once again, we don't have any news. We don't have anything real updates. So we got Doctor Who magazine, I think, came out, or it's coming out. Like I said, I've lost track of everything because... Hang on, let's take a look. Yep, so, oh yeah, Saeed, you've been here since the beginning. Let me scroll through. No sign of Mark, which is weird. Okay, but oh well. I'm sure they'll catch up later when this thing goes on to video. Well, we still have freedom of speech, but here's the thing. If you're working for a certain corporation and you say something that corporation does not like, they can now fire you. Sure, you still have the freedom of speech, but you're going to be living in a cardboard box under a bridge. It just feels like everything's bought and paid for anymore. I know, it's kind of depressing, but it's the way it's been for too long. Now look at all that's nonsense from the last few years. Say the wrong thing, you'll get stuck with a label, and you'll be pretty much kicked off social media. You'll lose your job. You'll lose your career. And like I said, it's just crazy, crazy world we live in. Hang on. Oh, I got to open the other window. It's starting to look like I'm hitting the ganj in here or something. That's why I mean it's been bought and paid for. I forgot to open the other window, can you tell? Oh, well, but we keep on keeping on. Remember, hate is always foolish, love is always wise, in the words of the doctor. And above all else, try to be kind, be kind more than anything. That's what I try to do anymore. I know sometimes it's difficult, or some days when you just want to explode, but it isn't worth the cost. Enjoy life, as much as you can, because none of us are getting out of this alive. Eventually, that's the way it is. I don't want to end on a downer, but I know it sounds a little crazy, but remember, this is all unscripted. I don't have cue cards. I don't have notes. I don't make shit up. But like I said, at least we have the missing episode thing. Hopefully we'll hear more on that front soon. But remember, today is Fallout Day. There's supposed to be a big announcement coming this afternoon. And I don't know what it's all going to entail. But like I said, most of it's already been leaked out by the reactors anyway. And I've literally been dodging bullets, because when it finally gets here in December, I don't want to have an unfair advantage over other players, but that doesn't matter in online games. Oh, well. Until next time, everybody, I got to get inside. I just looked at the time, so please be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll hopefully catch you all tomorrow. See you on the flip side, everyone. Have a great day.